Today is World Obesity Day. Over 1 billion people across the world have this condition. More people die from obesity-related conditions than hunger or malnutrition. It's really devastating, this particular condition. So we have a different take on what it is and how to manage it. And it's definitely not just taking some magic pill. It's so many things that go into helping fight this particular condition. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. It's going to enlighten you. It's going to give you hope. It's going to also open your brain up to new possibilities for the management of this condition. So enjoy.
Hello, everyone. This is Cameron. Today I'm here with Dr. Chris Cormier. Hello, Dr. Cormier.
Hey, Cameron.
Today we are going to be talking about obesity, being that today is World Obesity Day. So one of the shocking realities about obesity is it is actually causing more conditions that are killing more people than malnutrition or hunger in society today, which is absolutely crazy, Dr. Cormier.
Alarming. Yes.
Yes. Why has this become such a global health crisis?
Well, I have so many theories on this, and unfortunately, a lot of it centers on greed. I hate to say it, but these food companies and chemical companies, they want you to eat the worst foods, especially in the United States, that are the cheapest foods that contain the most chemicals. And notice how cheap food or inexpensive food has a bunch of ingredients.
Yes.
A lot of times. Like you can't even pronounce what the ingredients are. But the more expensive foods only have a few ingredients that are easy to pronounce. And so that doesn't make any sense. You'd figure that, more ingredients cost more.
Yeah.
But that's not the way they've worked it out. And the food companies want you to buy the cheapest foods to make you the sickest so that you'll use the most health insurance and you'll use the most drugs,
Yeah.
right? So they all four of those companies benefit in this process, and all the while conditions like obesity are think about it. If you eat a bunch of nasty food repeatedly, then obviously your body has issues with it. And there's so much more to it, but that's a significant portion of the problem.
Another big thing that we're seeing is actual childhood obesity, which is far bigger than it has been in the past 40 years. Why are children now developing metabolic diseases that used to only really affect adults?
Okay, so basically exactly what we talked about. I mean, there's so many problems in our food and chemical industry. But then, there are things called endocrine disruptors that are in food that basically mess up your body's production of hormones. And so that can alter all kinds of things. It can alter your weight. It can alter anything in your body that relies on hormones, which is so much. And then you also, outside of just the food, you have things we wear, right?
Yeah.
Our clothing can have endocrine disruptors. There's plastics that we're using that are endocrine disruptors. And there's makeups, there's perfumes, there's all these things that are out there that are products. If you think about the world that we're living in right now has more a variety of so many different products that were never in existence before.
Yes.
And so many of those products have effects on our bodies that when basic ingredients were there, just God-made ingredients, there wasn't as many effects.
Yes. A lot of people believe that obesity is just simply eating too much. But yeah, I'm sure you're going to tell us that it's a much deeper issue within the nervous system. Could you expand on that?
Yes. So basically, there's so many different toxins that are out there that are getting in our cells, and we also have these endocrine disruptors. Of course, you can eat too much. That can be a factor. But just the way they're designing food, they're actually making food. They have neuroscientists who work for food companies, and they literally make the taste addictive. So they want you to actually they want nerves in your body to remember a certain taste so that your body pings it and your brain says, oh my goodness, I want that taste, and it craves it again. And a lot of these tastes that they're creating are not healthy at all for you. So it's like eating something that your body craves that is not healthy for your system at all. And it can be one of the things that leads to obesity.
At the Nerve Health Institute, you talk a lot about reconnecting the brain to the different parts. How could obesity be affected by simply the brain not being connected somewhere?
So you can imagine, and this is what we see often, is your brain is your power company, and it's literally wired to trillions of houses or cells, which is crazy to think about, right?
Very.
So your brain, your whole life is trying to maintain 100% power to trillions of houses. It's impossible for one power company. There's too much interference in today's world: physical stresses, emotional stresses, environmental stresses. So any cell group in your body that loses power from your brain, unless you're addressing that cell group, that area gets weak, and then another area gets weak, and another area gets weak. And these cells could be in glands, they could be in organs, they can be in muscles, they can be in skin. The gist of all this is the less connected your brain gets to your cells, the less you can do. You feel like anything you do, you're going to get injured, right? You can't go work out, you can't do CrossFit. And a lot of times they just sit at home and don't know what else to do. And then the body has these cravings, and it just keeps manifesting itself. So from a nervous system perspective, we want to connect the brain to all those cells and get the cells healthier to where the body can move around. It can do things. So we have a lot of our patients that come to us and they can't hardly move at all. And we get things connected, the brain connected to those cells, and all of a sudden they're active again and doing things and losing weight. And something else that's really pivotal is you have all these endocrine glands. They're endocrine because they produce hormones throughout your body. And these glands have to have connections from the brain as well. And when you start losing connections there, the body can't produce these hormones on demand. And so there's so many issues involving obesity, plus all the toxic load that's out there. So we have to try to take that toxic load out of people. And I've been a non-invasive clinic now for 20 to almost 30 years.
Wow.
But we had to add something called EBU to our practice, where it actually takes out the toxins out of your blood. So we take the blood out, it filters 60% of all the toxins, microplastics, heavy metals, all that crazy stuff, microbes that are in your blood. Then it reoxygenates and ozonates and puts it back in the other arm. So we're helping people to detox through this process as well.
At your clinic, the Nerve Health Institute, I'm sure you've seen many people struggling with obesity or metabolic dysfunction. What are the first things that you would look at as their caregiver in that moment?
The first thing we go into is their history. We want to know kind of what led them up to where they are. And remember, everybody has a set of genetics, and nobody's born with a perfect set of cells. Your cells are designed to heal themselves. Most people don't even realize it's called self-healing. So we have this self-healing ability in every one of our cells. And unfortunately, what happens to people is we're born with nobody's born with a perfect set of cells. So everybody has cells to start out that aren't 100% in their self-healing capacity.
Yes.
And then you have physical stresses, emotional stresses, environmental stresses that can affect those cells, and it turns into more and more and more cells that lose the ability to self-heal. So the first thing we do is go through that history, figure out what led them on the path to where they are currently. And then we do a very detailed neurological exam where we get into the brain, do manual testing for all the 88 major nerves, like power lines that go to all the different cells. And we figure out which cells are disconnected, and we start a rehabilitative process for the brain, starting to get this power. It's like a power company, getting your power back to your cells. And once that starts to happen, the person can actually start to do better. We also, in our clinic, we have, I call it the OWL method. So we have the basic ingredients in cells are what we target. Oxygen's number one. That's why you can't do without breathing. The problem with breathing is none of us breathe enough, and we don't know what we're breathing anymore. So that could be a significant component to just getting cells healthier in the body. So we do a lot of oxygen therapies. And then we also have water. It's the second ingredient. And so some of our patients don't have enough internal water in their bodies. We should be about 60%. So we have ways of helping not only with the quantity and the quality. Light energy is kind of what we just talked about. This brain of yours is fiber optic. And literally we have to figure out where light energy got weak to cells and fix that. But then you also have frequencies, and you also have magnetism and then nutrients. And so those are the types of things we target in the human body that I think other people are missing.
That's amazing. Now, sadly, not everyone's able to come here to the Nerve Health Institute. They could be too far, whatever the case may be. For the people that cannot travel, how does the Bodychargers platform, how could this possibly help people with these conditions?
Sure. So we basically have had Nerve Health Institute as a clinic for many years, and I started to recognize that we need to help people more 24/7. I can't go with every patient that like I want to all the time. So we literally have all these things that I've recommended with my family, myself. I've rabbit holed about every possible thing on the planet in the alternative world for help. And so over the years, we've streamlined it into some really amazing things that could help people at home. And so I started having all these things I would use personally for me and my family and staff. And then we started saying patients here, and we get patients to use certain things for home. And we teach them all these strategies to help them at home. And we took all those strategies and put them into an online portal called Bodychargers. And so Bodychargers is not a doctor-patient relationship. It's more about coaching people and teaching people what to do for their self-healing at home. And so we have everything from all these types of frequency devices like these that you can put in your pocket, and it can target the frequency of certain cells like your thyroid or your pituitary or all these endocrine glands that your body has, that it can help reset the frequency of those cells 24/7. So plus we have all kinds of things they can do that are basic strategies from home to just spark up the body's ability to heal itself.
I think this is a self-explanatory question, but why is it so important for people to focus on self-healing rather than immediately turning to medications?
Yeah, so with obesity, I think there's I guess the world has almost been programmed for pills when you think about
That's
it.
true.
You know, Big Pharma has a handle. They want you to think your top ingredient is an NSAID or an over-the-counter pill or whatever type of pill, but that's not the ingredients in your body at all. Like we talked about, you have oxygen, you have water, you have light, you have frequency, you have magnetism, you have nutrients. Those are basic ingredients in a human body that I think people should start with, because remember, this thing is not designed to get conditions. It's like conditions or cuts that don't heal.
Yeah.
And the more cuts you get that are not healing, the more cells you have that are not healthy, and the more conditions you get. And obesity is just one of the things, but it leads to a tremendous amount of other conditions if left untreated. And so our focus really is to try to help educate people on that self-healing, because it's the core, it's the center. It's the one thing you have in your body that you can't change. Like it's God-given. It's this ability to heal itself. And Big Pharma doesn't want you to know that exists. And so there's a fallacy with weight loss, with being obese. You can just pop a pill and it fixes everything. But I think people are starting to recognize even some of the things that are out there right now, some of the pills on the market that are shrinking people. There's all kinds of class action lawsuits over those drugs right now. And because they're causing a lot of other side effects that are not good for people. So in our world, it's not just one thing that's going to get rid of obesity. You have to take a multifaceted approach, and you have to really focus on the body's getting back to the core basics of getting the body to heal itself like it's designed to do.
Have you seen in your clinic anybody with obesity or metabolic dysfunction that has completely changed the trajectory of their life?
Yes, so we've been so blessed to see so many over the years, and the ones that actually come to us and they take a holistic approach, like when we're recommending certain things to them, it's with obesity in particular. When they come to us and let's say they have obesity, right? Well, they have all these other conditions that led them to get obesity. And you have to fix all these other things, like the brain's connections to the cells, like, being low in oxygen, being low in water, frequencies being off in certain cells, not being grounded in certain cells, maybe not having the right nutrients. It's a lot to think about. And maybe they're really toxic and we got to take EBU and get the toxic load out of them. So there's a lot of things that go into getting this condition, but we've literally had patients come to us, not even for obesity, maybe because they had a ton of pain, whatever, and they'll go through a process of us strengthening, doing all these things, and they'll lose 70 pounds, and they'll feel better than they felt in 20 years. So that happens routinely because when you feel better, you want to move around more. But when you don't feel good, you don't want to move much.
That's very true. If there is someone listening today that really wants to take control of their health, what is 3 things that you would recommend for them to immediately start?
Number 1, breathe more. So because remember, oxygen is our number 1 ingredient in the human body. So when you feel bad, take some breaths in. If you feel dizzy, then don't take, then slow those down, but start with like 4 or 5 breaths in or out. And that'll get more oxygen to your cells. Number 2 would be definitely get more water in your body, and the quality of the water matters, but for the sake of this conversation, we don't have to go into the depth of that, but start your day with water.
Yes.
Every day, start your day with water. That'd be number 2. And number 3, get more sunlight. So most people don't get any sunlight. They leave their house, they go to work, they go to wherever they're going to go, and they don't hardly get any sunlight at all. So remember, those staple ingredients, oxygen, water, light, are so critical on a daily basis for our bodies.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Cormier. That does conclude our talk today. I hope that was very informative for you all.
If you can relate to what we talked about in this podcast, then subscribe to our channel and like this video, as it really helps the algorithm. Don't forget, if you want to help yourself with self-healing at home right now, then simply become a Bodychargers by Dr. Chris member. And remember, our clinic, the Nerve Health Institute, is open all year round for in-person visits. For more information, just click the link below.